Our next speaker is Terry Egan. We're very fortunate to have Terry with us and have Terry in our district. Terry is the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Carolina Forest Sunrise in Myrtle Beach. He's been a Rotarian of the Year for his club in 2018-2019. Terry's a graduate of the Rotary Leadership Institute, as well as the Rotary Emerging Leaders Training. He's been a nonprofit professional and is, he's been a professional fundraiser as well for more than 30 years. He's recently secured an MBA in nonprofit management from Corkedia University and has a professional certification as a certified fundraising executive. He's raised funds for multiple Christian charities, the United Way, and served on the executive teams of 2 hospital health systems. Terry's unique perspective on fundraising can bring vision to raising funds during the pandemic. We all need to focus on fundraising, I know, from time to time for our clubs to be successful, and we're very thankful to have Terry with us. So Terry, we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you for that nice introduction. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can everybody see fundraising amid a pandemic? Just give me a nod. Okay, great. I've got a lot of ground to cover today. Some of you may have seen this presentation, but I keep changing it as the COVID-19 pandemic also seems to evolve on us. So we took a quick look at 2020 and giving that took place. Believe it or not, charitable giving rose by 2%. Not-for-profits saw a significant drop in their contributions April, May, and June, so Q2 last year, with the smallest not-for-profits being hit the hardest. It began to recover then after that and finished up for the year. Not only did giving increase, but the average size gift from donors increased. And you can see that $737 down or up from $617. Human service organizations, as you would think, kind of led the way in receiving contributions. And I think the public in general had a sense that people were hurting and needed this type of assistance. Very basic food, clothing, shelter kind of needs. The losers in 2020 were medical research, environment, and arts. So another fact I found very interesting is that many gave their stimulus check. And I'm going to come back to that a little later in the presentation here. So what are the giving sources? Many think that large corporations or companies are the major givers in this country, and it's simply just not true. 70% of contributions basically come from individuals. So think about that. Every time you reach out to somebody, are you immediately thinking about companies, or are you thinking about individual donors? I would suggest that this number, and I don't have proof of it, but my intellect tells me that this percentage would actually go up as corporations have felt the economic effects of the pandemic. Individuals obviously are giving more. So this number since 2019 might be even higher skewed than that 69%. So let's look at the other ones down here. Foundations, 17% of charitable giving. Bequests, which is through people's will, 10%. And corporations at 5%. So as you look at your fundraising for your club moving forward, you can think about these facts as to who you're going to be approaching. I don't think Rotary clubs get a lot of money from foundations, honestly. So you really should be looking at those contributions from individuals as your primary source, and then perhaps sponsorships and that type of thing from corporations. Okay, looking forward to 2021. I don't know if you've heard, but President Biden is talking about a tax hike on wealthy Americans. And this is specifically taking the capital gains tax from 20% up to 40%. So that may have impact on charitable giving. As people are seeking tax relief, they may turn more towards charitable giving. So 2021 has the potential of being a very good year for philanthropy. Okay, I'm going to break things down into 3 areas here. Types of fundraising: philanthropic, which is true philanthropy; social giving; and transactional giving. So pure philanthropy leads with the cause and why you're giving, and pulls at the heartstrings, if you will. No goods or services are received by the donor, right? 100% charitable deduction with the IRS. So our club did a virtual food drive back last spring, about this time of year, and it was simply to raise money. We were under COVID. Restaurants were shut down. Most public places were shut down. And our club said, well, we can't just stop. To be a vibrant club like we're talking about today, we still need to raise money and help people do the programs that are landmarks. And so we set out, and what we did was we did a GoFundMe. And to drive contributions, you can see here, we set a goal of $5,000. We beat that goal, and it was a successful event. And let me show you one of the things we did. So our club took, if you can see my cursor up here in the top left, but we set the goal of 5,000, but our club took 5,000 out of the reserves and matched dollar for dollar every gift that came in. So this matching gift concept is something that is used by large charities all the time, especially if they can get a major giver to put up, 5, 10, 25,000 to match gifts that come from others. Your club can do this too. Okay, Giving Tuesday is coming up in November. A high percentage, over 60% of contributions that come into charities happen in the 4th quarter of the year. So, and Giving Tuesday is right there, right amongst Thanksgiving, and that's when people are thinking about their year-end giving, their tax situation, but most of all, they're being generous, they're being thankful, they're following their faiths, and they're giving. So your club might want to do something special for Giving Tuesday. Talk about it with your club and what you could do. Okay, I want to take a second here, and Paul Walter probably knows a lot more about this than I do, being a financial planning. Paul, is that it?
Or a bank. I'm actually a banker, so I know enough to be dangerous.
Okay.
If you need a commercial loan, I can help you.
Yeah. So let's say that you invested in Apple when it was at $100 a share, and let's say it's now at $1,100 a share. I'm just kind of making this up. You've got $1,000 of capital gains, right? If you sell that stock in order to make a charitable contribution of $1,000 to somebody, some charity, perhaps your club or any other charity, you're going to pay capital gains on it. So right now that is 20%. So $200 of that sale would go to the IRS, and you would have $800 now to give to your charity. However, there's this thing called transfer, and it's a wonderful thing. It's just like transferring money. You can electronically transfer shares of stock from your brokerage to a charity's brokerage without selling it. And here's the kicker, is that you pay no capital gains. Okay, remember, Biden's going to raise that capital gain to 40%. So of that $1,000, you'll only have $600 to give. But if you transfer to the charity, they get $1,000. You get $1,000 write-off in your taxes. You get the full amount as a write-off. So as we talk about the future and giving, my wife and I, this is the way we give. We stopped giving cash a long time ago. And we have favorite charities, and we make gifts using stock, appreciated stock, of course. Okay, I'm going to talk about social motivations. We just went through true philanthropy. These are events driven by social connections, and this is where you get into a lot of events, galas, awards, ticket sales. You get the idea. Auctions. This is where people have a chance to interact, and this is where we have hurt in the past year or over a year, is because a lot of our social opportunities have been shut down. At this point during the pandemic, we are sick of being on Zoom call after Zoom call and after Zoom call. We're happy to come onto it here because it's safe, but we all know that we're just dying to be in person and give a hug to somebody and go to a Rotary event. I'm doing some fundraising consulting for a local charity, and they held their gala, which they normally get about 500 to 600 people come to. This was just a month and a half ago. They went ahead and went full online with their gala, and here's what they were talking about doing, or other charities have been attempting, is to pull a gala off online on Zoom and use breakout rooms as tables, and put auction items up during the Zoom calls and what have you. And the group I'm associated with, they had like 65 people show up to the Zoom call when they normally have almost 600 people show up to the event. Now they posted that. I mean, they recorded it and posted it, and they ended up with something like 128 views of it eventually. But the hype that's driven during an in-person event just isn't quite there. So it was definitely educational, but they didn't raise anywhere near the money. It was pennies on the dollar. So here's a little bit more information. At this point during the pandemic, I'm not wild about these events. Okay, so here's a Rotary Club back in Illinois. I lived in this town for 20 years. A buddy of mine, Scott Stevens here, shared it, and this is just an image, so it's not a live web page interactive, but they had a non-event, and you can see people giving $10 to $20 not to attend. I will not donate a pie. I will sponsor, a coat or boots or stuff. So they went ahead and drove people to their online presence and generated income this way by hosting a non-event. And again, to me, fundraising is very highly personal. It's interaction. The more personal you can make fundraising, the more successful it is. So, you know, these are marginal things that we've been forced into over the past year. Here's an online croquet competition. And again, this turned into basically an online auction. And again, here's other online events. Here's one that did a pajama ball. That was getting creative, right? Everybody show up in their pajamas. Here's one I noticed. This is Jenna Bush, daughter of our past president, and George Bush. And she was going to do an in-person event in Charleston when the pandemic hit. And months later it came out that, you know, obviously couldn't do this. So she went totally online with it. I don't have access to the results and how she did, but it was also a chance to sell her book. Okay, I want to talk about giving online, because a lot of giving is transforming online as people are spending more money using things like Amazon.com. They're getting more used to online transactions. So I want you to think about how you're positioning your club to receive money. So here's an organization that I connected through, actually through Rotary. And you can see there's a Give Now through PayPal. And this club also, organization also set up a Venmo account and a Cash App, and even encouraging gifts through donor advised funds at community foundations. And here's one that I haven't even got into yet, but this organization is receiving contributions via Bitcoin. So as we continue to go through this pandemic and come out of it, I think you need to, at least I know our club needs to broaden our means of receiving contributions. You talk to people who are age 30 and under these days, they don't know much about PayPal, but they ask you if you have a Cash App account or a Venmo. So if your club doesn't have those, you know, and I'm not only talking about contributions, but, you know, how can people pay their dues, and how can you get young people involved if you don't meet them at where they are. Okay, what's in? So think about, you know, there's 5K runs are getting popular again. They were not really happening, but now, I mean, even this past year, you know, go out and do your own run and turn in your time. You know, we don't even have to gather outside and get people sick. But now as you know, everybody's getting their shots, it may be safer to have outdoor events like this. So here's some idea. So here's a Bark City 5K, adapted to social distancing. Here's a virtual walk and run. Golf outings. So my background today is the Rotary National Golf Institutional, being sponsored, or invitational, sponsored by Rotary District 7770. We've got a website, we've got Facebook presence. Go on, come play golf with us. These are the kind of things we're talking about, you know, safe ways to get out, raise money. If you haven't had a golf tournament, you're probably thinking about it. The Rotary National Golf Invitational is meant to be that you could have a winner of your club that advances to the district-wide event, which we're building into a national event. Okay, large groups are coming back. So tomorrow night here in Myrtle Beach, we've got Mercy Me. It's a band that's playing, and they've taken over the minor league baseball stadium, Pelicans Field. Normally, organizers of these Christian concerts are holding them in a large church here indoors. They've foregone that now, and they've gone to the outdoor stadium. So be thinking about what you can do outdoors. By the way, Myrtle Beach has more mini putt courses than anywhere in the world. Did you know that? So, you know, there's opportunity right there. We also have 80 golf courses, so it makes a whole lot of sense for Myrtle Beach to be focusing on golf or mini golf or any of these things. But think about the assets within your community and how you can use those outdoors. Maybe it's something different, like a Frisbee golf tournament. And so the Detroit Auto Show used to be held indoors, right? They didn't do that this year. They went to a totally outdoor venue where the different auto companies set up their vehicles in parks around Detroit and encouraged transportation, or provided transportation from park to park, or encouraged you to drive through and go see the cars. It's a different mode of doing it, but they didn't stop. And let me get to transactional just real quick. How am I doing on time? Okay, I'm basically there, but let me finish real quick. Other types of fundraising you may consider isn't really true philanthropy. Products or services that are received in placement for money they give to your club. And what happens here is these type of product sales, they're items that families need, people need to survive normally, or wants, right? Who doesn't go buy a cookie stand by the Girl Scouts and say, well, they give themselves permission because it's a good cause to go and buy those products. So, you know, is your club thinking about doing something outdoors, something you've never done before? Are you thinking about doing something like delivering flowers just to offices on Mother's Day or other times of the year? Poinsettias at Christmas tree sales outdoors. You know, somebody's got a business in a parking lot. Are you thinking creatively about doing something? Now would be the time to do that planning for the future holidays here and do it safely. I'm gonna skip through this real quick due to time, but there's online auction, this bidding for good. You can see it up here. I recommend that website. Go on it, see different auctions around the country. You can search like 100 auctions at a time for a certain item that you want. Or you can go to a specific charity and support that charity. Are you using Amazon Smile? Okay, smile.amazon.com. If you replace your regular Amazon search with smile.amazon.com, you can designate your favorite charity, and you can have it go towards your favorite charity. So a percentage of the sales, I think it's like 0.5% of the sale, but it doesn't make your price go up at all in your purchasing. It's trickle contributions that come in, and if you get a whole club using this, you know, get 25, 50, 100 members using this, it adds up fairly quickly. So here's more online concerts, raffles. Make sure you check with the state, get your raffle license before you do any raffles. But I see a lot more cars being raffled, these type of things. They're safe. You can be promoted electronically, digitally, or in person. So what's out? Galas, concerts have been. I should put that in the they're coming back. Oops, I didn't mean to jump forward here. I know there's a club in the upstate doing a rubber duck race. these things, you know, we're kind of in the stage where some of these things are coming back. But in the end stage golf tournaments, virtual galas, you can see the list here, and use your creativity to do low contact things, but raise good money. Here's some additional ideas. I love the peer-to-peer thing because it gets people raising money, and inviting others that they know closely to give. And here's my contact information. I'm willing to speak at your club. So reach out if you would like and set something up. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I'm open to questions, Paul, or maybe we should finish. It's up to you.
Well, thank you,